I mean, when I say that I thought everything was the end of the world, I was so dramatic. Like, Alex wouldn't come home with flowers and I'd be like, you don't love me. That is some drama. That is not healthy at all. This is called, I just took a shower and I didn't want to have to blow dry it. So that's the look. I'm feeling so cozy this morning. I've got a sweater on, which I haven't worn a sweater in months. So I'm just loving it. I'm having a great little morning. My fall candle is burning, got my little coffee. I'm just having a great morning. Today, I wanted to talk about marriage. I have been married for 5 years officially as of a couple weeks ago. We spent the night in downtown Cincinnati, which we love going downtown in the city. We had such a good time. We had a beautiful view from our hotel room and we got dinner, went to a jazz bar, our favorite jazz bar. It's called Hearth Room. It is the best. If you live in Cincinnati, you should for sure check it out. If you like just classy, elegant, chill jazz vibes, it was so nice. We go there all the time and got cocktails. Anyway, we were celebrating and I've just been thinking about what I have learned and how far we have come in the past 5 years. It's not me saying at all that I think I have all the answers to marriage. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot more to learn for sure, but 5 years is significant. Like, I definitely have learned a lot. In the spirit of 5 years of marriage being celebrated, I wanted to do 5 things that I wish I would have known when I got married. Okay, let me just also say, like, now I'm getting in my head about what people are gonna think. This is my experience. So I'm not making a blanket statement of telling you guys what to do if you're about to get married or you're newlywed. This is just my experience that I wish I would have watched a video like this when I was engaged. So yeah, now I'm gonna actually jump into my points. I came into my marriage with my husband Alex with a lot of fear. I went into marriage already with my defenses up. And this is just me being transparent. Like, my husband and I fought so much in our first and second year of marriage. Actually, our second year was worse than our first year. My first point, I wish I would have thought about my relationship more like a sitcom than a rom-com. This is a weird statement, but I feel like it really encapsulates what I'm trying to communicate. You grow up in American culture being very impacted by romantic movies, and I would say I was almost addicted to romance. I was someone who constantly had to be in a relationship, constantly had to be romanced, constantly like just feeding that so unhealthily in myself, and I got married thinking that marriage was going to be like that marriage was going to be this endless amount of just pure romance and passion. Marriage is beautiful and super passionate and super romantic, but it's not that way all the time because life isn't that way all the time. Like, it's just not realistic. And I think that if I would have thought about my relationship with my husband and our life more as like a sitcom and laughing at things that were small, if there's abusive behavior, if there's things that are really serious, that's not what I'm talking about. But just the little things that I took so personally and got so offended at, I think that for me is a huge key of just not being so serious all the time about my relationship and looking for ways that like he wasn't being romantic enough or that he wasn't being pursuing enough of me. It was very me focused. And that goes into my second point, which is if you go into marriage or engagement or even just a serious relationship thinking, what can I get out of this relationship? That's not a healthy perspective to have. Marriage is not about what he can do to make me happy. It's about laying my life down for someone else and championing them, fanning their flame of what they're passionate about and their purpose in life. It's not about what I can get from them. Waking up with that mindset changes everything. My first thought is him, not how I can get myself taken care of from him. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect at this, okay? There are definitely mornings where I wake up and I'm like very much thinking about myself. Marriage is a pressure cooker for revealing dysfunction and selfishness, and I definitely was so selfish when I first got married, but having this perspective of knowing how to shift my mindset about things like that is really important and super, super valuable to the health of my marriage, for sure. We're getting into it. We're talking about some real stuff this morning. I'm very passionate about this though. I want this channel to be real life stuff. This is something that's just on my heart, so just bear with me. Next point is to not underestimate the power and the value of having fun together. I definitely did not know how to have fun when we got married. I took myself way too seriously as a person. Luckily, Alex is a very fun person, so he helped me into that. And now it's just amazing that when life gets serious and difficult, we actually increase our amount of fun in our life. There's so much value in just like being stupid together. Even if you're adults, even if you're parents like we are, it's still so important. So for us, that looks like we think it's really fun to go to jazz bars and get cocktails. We don't like getting drunk. It's not about that. It's just about the artistry behind the cocktails. And we also love going on day trips. Like we drive to Columbus often. We love traveling when we're able to. And then more simple things, we love going to art museums, things like that. It's just important to know how you and your spouse have fun together. And once we discovered that, it really shifted things for us. Okay, next point, the energy that I spent nitpicking, criticizing, having fear-based reactions like I'm afraid that Alex is going to end up falling out of love with me. Okay, that's a very real fear of mine, and I think for a lot of people. Instead of having a fear-based response to things, I started channeling that energy and that mindset into time with Jesus and prayer. I started praying for Alex more than I was criticizing him. I started praying for him more than I was nitpicking him. I started prophesying over his life more than I was having fear-based reactions. I am telling you guys that changed so much in my relationship, because not only was I praying and giving it to the Lord, but I was also actually changing as I was speaking things out, as I was praying. It started to actually change my heart in my time with Jesus, and I would walk away from that time being a better wife, being a better encourager, a better champion of him, instead of looking for imperfections in him, looking for ways to nitpick him, to criticize him. Now again, I'm not perfect at this, okay? Like, I definitely still struggle with this. I think a lot of wives do, but it has come a long way from where it was at the beginning. And I wish I would have known that at the beginning of our marriage, for sure. I feel like I wasted just so much time and energy being afraid and letting that run our relationship and what I was communicating to him, instead of getting my heart in the right place and then acting from that place. If you've gotten this far, good job. This is a revealing video for sure, but I want to do more videos like this, especially about topics like marriage and relationships and the Lord. It's the stuff that's the most important to me. Having all the fun videos about, like, you know, makeup routines and daily vlogs and things like that are super fun, and I love those. But I want there to be a balance between the very real, deep things and then fun things like that. That's what this channel's about. So let's dive into this last point. I wish I would have known that when things felt like the end of the world, that they were not. I wish I would have meditated more on, for I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. That he ordained my relationship with my husband. And because of that, as long as we stay connected to him, both of us, that he's gonna take us where we need to go. Of course, when I say that, I don't mean abusive behavior. I don't mean infidelity. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm just referring to my own personal fears and what I carried and how I just let that dictate everything. I wish I would have spent more time with Jesus, and I wish I would have not taken things like they were the end of the world. I mean, when I say that I thought everything was the end of the world, I was so dramatic. Like, Alex wouldn't come home with flowers and I'd be like, you don't love me. That is some drama. That is not healthy at all. Like, it's embarrassing for me to say that. It's just not the end of the world. And if I stop looking for things that prove that my husband loves me, and I start looking for ways that I can pour into him, it changes everything. I mean, I feel like those 5 points are very intense, but those are so important to me. If you are engaged, about to get married, a newlywed, and you feel like scared, you feel overwhelmed with the future, a lot of people in my experience didn't talk about those kinds of feelings, and it left me feeling so alone and so scared of what my feelings meant. And I just want to affirm anyone who's watching this that is in those places, or maybe even not. Maybe you've been married for 5 years and you're feeling overwhelmed and scared. Just get connected to Jesus and start praying for your spouse and watch what happens. And I'm saying that as a very blanket statement. I am a full-on believer in counseling, in inner healing, in mental healing. I've been on medication for depression and anxiety for almost 10 years now. So don't get me wrong, there are very real issues that people have and that I have. So I'm not saying that, like, just go pray and it fixes everything, but I'm telling you, don't underestimate the power of it, because it will change a lot. So that wraps up this video, y'all. If you made it this far, I applaud you, because I said some very direct things. Life is beautiful. Life can also be hard. It's all of it. Like, it's all of it. And so I want to represent all of it on this channel, not just the good parts. Comment below and like and subscribe. If you liked what you saw genuinely and you just want to help my channel out, it really does help. So I'm super excited about talking about this kind of stuff. Tune in for the next one. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next. Maybe you guys will help me decide that. I'm going to finish drinking my coffee. I'm going to smell my fall candle. I'm going to bask in the crisp fall air and just have a nice peaceful morning. And I will talk to you guys soon. See you next time.